wandering through the streets of Jodhpur, a journey into timelessness. As I wade through the streets of Jodhpur, a city carved from the sands of time, it feels as if I've stepped into a world where past and present collide in a symphony of colour, sound, and life. The hot Rajasthani sun beats down, its rays dancing on the rugged terrain, while the wind carries with it whispers of centuries-old tales, woven into the very air that fills this land. The roads stretch out ahead, winding through a city that is at once ancient and ever-evolving. The heat and the streets, a desert symphony. The heat is palpable alive. It bounces off the sand-coloured walls, from the stone pavements to the cobalt-blue homes that line the winding streets. The sun blazes high, an unrelenting force, casting a golden hue across the landscape. The roads, though busy, seem to shimmer under the intense gaze of the desert sky. There's something about Jodhpur in this heat of resilience, a sense of adaptation. The people who walk these roads seem untouched by the sweltering air, wrapped in the vibrant hues of Rajasthan, with saris of crimson, orange, and peacock green flowing around them. They move like rivers through the bustling city, flowing with purpose. Their skin, sun-kissed and toughened by the desert, glows under the afternoon sun. The streets themselves are alive, pulsing with an energy that can only be found in a city that carries the weight of centuries on its shoulders. Every road seems to tell its own story, every corner a secret waiting to be uncovered. The roads of Jodhpur may be busy bikes and rickshaws weaving between pedestrians, the hum of engines mixing with the occasional sound of a camel's hooves, but there's an elegance to the chaos. The people know this rhythm well. It's a dance they've been performing for generations. The Blue Labyrinth. Moving deeper into the heart of the old city, the sea of blue takes over. The houses, painted in a soothing shade of indigo, seem to glow under the relentless desert sun. Legend has it that the Brahmins, the priestly class, first painted their homes this colour to distinguish themselves from others. Over time, the tradition spread, and now Jodhpur is known around the world as the Blue City. Why blue? Perhaps it's the cooling effect it has on the eyes, or maybe it's to ward off heat. But as I walk through these narrow lanes, it feels almost like walking through a dream. The walls rise up on either side, creating a maze where one could easily get lost, but in Jodhpur, getting lost is part of the magic. Around each turn, there's a story waiting to be found. The children play in the doorways, their laughter filling the streets, mingling with the sounds of vendors selling colourful bangles, spices and textiles. The scent of marigolds from a nearby flower stall mixes with the heady aroma of street food, the sharp, intoxicating smell of samosas frying, the sweetness of jalebis bubbling in hot oil. Beneath the gaze of Mehrungar, as I wander, it's impossible to ignore the watchful presence of Mehrungar Fort looming above. It is the city's protector, its pride, its eternal guardian. Built by Rao Jodha in the 15th century, it is a towering fortress, etched into the very cliff it sits upon. The fort is visible from almost every part of the city, as though reminding the people of their heritage, of their lineage. Mehrungar is more than just a fort, it is a living relic. Its towering walls, thick and impenetrable, tell stories of battles fought, of invaders who tried and failed to breach its gates. Walking through the streets of Jodhpur under its shadow feels like stepping back in time, as though the fort itself is silently narrating the history of the Rathore dynasty, who ruled these lands with pride and valour. Inside its high walls lie palaces adorned with delicate carvings, courtyards where kings once held court, and museums filled with relics of a glorious past. From above, the fort offers sweeping views of the city below, the blue roofs stretching to the horizon, blending with the golden sands of the desert beyond. The people of Jodhpur, faces of resilience. But while the fort stands as a symbol of the city's strength, it is the people who give it life. The men, many still dressed in traditional Rajasthani attire, turbans of deep saffron and maroon wrapped elegantly on their heads, gather in tea stalls, sipping chai and exchanging stories of the day. Their faces, weathered by the sun, speak of a life spent in the heart of the desert, a life in harmony with the land. The women move through the streets with grace, balancing water pots on their heads, adorned in bangles and anklets that jingle with every step. Their smiles are quick, their eyes sparkling with the warmth of a place that welcomes strangers like old friends. Even in the midst of the city's busyness, there is a sense of calm, a sense of unity, as though the people of Jodhpur have long understood that the city's beauty lies not in its grandeur, but in its ability to embrace the heat, the sand, the chaos, and turn it into something extraordinary. The markets of Jodhpur are a whirlwind of activity. Sada Market, near the iconic clock tower, is a sensory explosion. Here, merchants call out to customers, selling everything from shimmering textiles and handmade pottery to vibrant spices that are piled high in pyramids of reds, oranges, and yellows. The scent of turmeric, cumin, and cardamom fills the air, a reminder that this land has long been a center of trade and culture, a city of contrasts where tradition meets modernity. As I continue my journey through the streets, it's clear that Jodhpur is a city of contrasts. While the old city holds tightly to its traditions with its ancient buildings and timeless customs, the new parts of Jodhpur are steadily embracing modernity. Sleek cars drive alongside horse-drawn carts, and modern cafes sit next to centuries-old temples where incense smoke curls upwards, carrying prayers to the heavens. Even Umaid Bhawan Palace, the jewel of modern Jodhpur, stands as a testament to the city's ability to blend the old with the new. Built during the early 20th century, the palace was a way for Maharaja Umaid Singh to provide employment to the people during a severe famine. Today, it's a luxury hotel, one of the largest private residences in the world, where guests can experience the grandeur of royal Rajasthan while enjoying the luxuries of the present. Jodhpur at dusk, the city of dreams. As the day begins to wane, the sun softens its grip on the city, casting long shadows over the streets. The golden light of the setting sun bathes the city in a warm glow, and the blue walls seem to shimmer in the twilight. From a rooftop cafe, the view is breathtaking, the blue city stretching out in every direction, with Mehrangarh Fort standing tall, its sandstone walls now glowing red under the fading light. The city begins to slow down, but it never truly sleeps. As night falls, the streets light up with the glow of lanterns, and the hum of evening prayers can be heard from temples and mosques alike. The stars begin to appear one by one in the clear desert sky, and the city takes on a dreamlike quality, as though time has paused for just a moment. Jodhpur is more than just a city, it's an experience. A journey through time. Its roads may be busy, its sun may be relentless, but there is a beauty here that is timeless, a beauty that lies in its history, its people, its streets. As I wade through its roads, I realize that Jodhpur is not just a place to visit, it's a place to feel, to breathe in, to become a part of. The narrow roads of Jodhpur pathways through time. The narrow roads of Jodhpur are like veins running through the heart of the blue city. As I step into them, it feels as though I've entered a world that has remained untouched by time. A labyrinth of winding alleys, hidden nooks, and secret stories waiting to be discovered. These roads are not just pathways, they are a portal into the soul of Jodhpur, where the essence of the city lives and breathes, a tangle of blue. The first thing that strikes me is the color blue. Everywhere I look, the walls are washed in different shades of it: sky blue, azure, indigo, cobalt. Some homes are freshly painted, their color bright and vibrant, while others are faded, worn down by years of desert heat and time. But even in their faded glory, these walls hold an undeniable charm, as though each brushstroke has a story to tell. The alleys here are so narrow that at times the buildings on either side seem to lean in, almost touching, casting a cool shade on the streets below. In some places the passage is barely wide enough for a single person to pass, making each step feel like a personal exploration. The walls rise high on both sides, enclosing you in a world of blue that feels both intimate and infinite. a maze of life. The roads twist and turn, creating a maze that could easily confuse any outsider. But for the locals, these alleys are second nature, a part of their daily rhythm. Children run through them with ease, their laughter echoing off the walls. Women, wrapped in brightly colored saris, pass gracefully, balancing water pots on their heads or carrying bags of fresh vegetables. They move with practiced ease, navigating the tight corners and sudden turns as if these roads were as familiar to them as the lines on their hands. On these streets, life unfolds at its own pace. Small doors open directly onto the roads, revealing glimpses of courtyards where families sit together, sipping tea or preparing meals. The scent of fresh chapatis and spices wafts through the air, mixing with the sharp, earthy smell of the sun-baked walls. You can hear the occasional clanging of metal from a blacksmith's shop hidden deep in one of the lanes, or the rhythmic tap of a tailor's foot pedal as he works at his sewing machine in a tiny open front shop. The pulse of tradition. Though narrow, these streets are filled with the pulse of tradition. Tiny shrines to Hindu gods are tucked into the walls, often decorated with fresh flowers or a string of marigolds, and passers-by stop briefly to offer a prayer or touch the image of a deity for good luck. Street vendors set up shop in the tightest corners, selling everything from bangles and silver jewelry to sweets and snacks. Their stalls are often so small that the vendor can barely fit behind them, but they do so with a smile, calling out to the locals in a mix of Marwari and Hindi, their voices part of the soundtrack of the streets. The alleys also serve as a link to Jodhpur's rich past. Hidden in these narrow roads are ancient havlis, the grand homes of merchants and nobles, their facades adorned with intricate carvings and delicate lattice work. Though some are crumbling, their beauty is still unmistakable, and they stand as quiet reminders of the wealth and craftsmanship that once flourished here. A living history. Walking these streets, I feel as though I'm not just in Jodhpur, I'm walking through its history. These roads have seen centuries of life unfold. They've felt the footsteps of royal courtiers and traders, of kings and queens, of soldiers and common folk. In many ways, the narrow roads are the city's most enduring witnesses, silent but ever present, watching as the world around them changes while they remain timeless. The alleys lead to unexpected treasures. One moment you're squeezed between two walls with barely enough room to move, and the next you stumble upon a small open square where a local market is bustling with activity, or where a lone tree offers shade to an elderly man sipping his chai. Every corner hides something new, an ancient stepwell, its deep, intricate carvings sinking into the earth, or a rooftop where a local artisan sits, crafting intricate textiles by hand. Even the animals in Jodhpur have learned to navigate these cramped spaces. Cows, sacred in Rajasthan, stand lazily in the middle of the road, oblivious to the people and scooters that have to squeeze past them. The occasional goat or stray dog darts between doorways, finding cool shelter from the midday sun. A city's heartbeat. Despite their size, the narrow roads of Jodhpur are the city's heartbeat. They connect the people, the past, and the present, weaving through the fabric of life here in a way that is as unique as the city itself. It's impossible to walk these roads without feeling like you are a part of something bigger, a living, breathing organism that stretches back through the ages and continues to thrive today. In these narrow streets, the pace of life slows down. There's no hurry here, no need to rush. The alleys invite you to take your time to soak in the details. The chipped paint on a centuries-old door, the patterned shadows cast by the Jaroka's traditional Rajasthani windows above, the quiet hum of a sewing machine, or the laughter of children playing with makeshift toys. It is in these moments, in these narrow streets, that the true essence of Jodhpur reveals itself. As the sun begins to set, the narrow roads take on a different life. The blue of the walls deepens, and the coolness of evening creeps in. Lanterns and street lights flicker to life, casting a soft glow on the stone streets, and the air is filled with the sounds of evening prayers, the clatter of dishes being washed, and the distant hum of music from a nearby temple. The narrow roads of Jodhpur are more than just pathways, they are a journey through time. They are the lifeblood of a city that thrives on its connection to the past while embracing the present. As I walk through these streets, I realize that Jodhpur is not just a city to be seen, but a city to be felt, to be experienced in the quiet whispers of its narrow roads and the vibrant life that fills them.